What's up, everyone? Welcome to Play Hard and Love Big Radio. My name is Nick Clark, and I am your co-host today with my wife, Katie Clark. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP, based out of Folsom, California. Check us out at spotteddogyoga.com. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is dedicated to bringing you the people and the inspirational stories to help you live a more purposeful and passionate life. And we have a great topic for you today. Katie, what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about 5 questions to help you reach your goals. So each question would be something that if a person's listening to this, that they would go through and look at each question and answer for themselves.
All right, so this falls under the realm of inquiry, most definitely. Yeah. Okay, good deal. How much time should someone take to write down the answers?
I don't think there's a specific amount of time. I think it's just whatever time is needed to get it out. And maybe you sit down and you have some things to write the first time you do it, and then maybe upon reflection later, there's more. So it's not something that you have to just do all in one go either. You could just pick like one area, the area that you most want to focus on, and start there, and then maybe look at other areas later.
Well, what's the first question? I'm curious.
The first question is, are you getting the results that you want in your life? And not just looking at your life as a whole, but also looking at really specific areas of your life, like your relationships, your career. Is it going in the trajectory that you want to have? Your support around you, your friends, are they encouraging? Like, is that working? And like, are you comfortable with who you are? Do you feel like you know yourself and that you're making the decisions that are true to your core? So things like that. And also you can look at like your health and your fitness as well and see if like you're reaching the goals that you want to hit there.
Okay, so you're looking at yourself, your life as a whole.
Yeah, and writing down in different areas, are you happy with what you see or not?
What it makes me think of is what you put your attention on grows. And also that awareness is the birthplace of possibility. In this question, there's an opportunity for people to look at, to create an awareness around where they're happy, where they're not. And they may be moving around the world in a way that they're not present right now to those places where they're happy and where they're not. There may be some places that they discovered that they never even realized. But then that awareness gives you the access to create some sort of a new possibility. And if you put your attention on that new possibility, then you could grow from it.
There's a reason I said like to look in specific areas and not just your life as a whole, because like I'm very happy with my life overall. And though if I sit down and start to dissect little areas of my life, and it's not always something like massive that's a problem or I'm having like a major life crisis or anything like that. But if I look at those littler areas, that's where I can find some room to grow. No matter how happy I am, just like overall in general. And I think that's really important because, you know, so often I think we've encountered people sometimes in training programs where when we do inquiry, they're like, oh, I already worked on that, or, oh, I already did that. Like it's over and done. But the thing that you want to get when you're doing inquiry is that there's always something to learn. And in terms of goals, there's always something more to achieve, even if it's just little things. So I think that's just something really important to presence there.
Yeah, right. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So we've got question number 1.
All right. So question 2 is, what do I have control over? And so what you want to focus on in this question is, well, first of all, like understanding that the thing you have the most control over is yourself. And you have more control over yourself than you think. And often we want to change other people, or we see that things are someone else's fault. We tend to want to maybe blame other people or, push it outside of ourselves. And instead, because you can't control other people, it's really important to focus on the fact that ultimately you have to understand and you have to accept that the aspects of your life that you can control are your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own actions. And that's when true shift really happens, when you are able to actually reach your goals. I just think that people don't always like ask themselves that question. What do I have control over? It kind of can take something that seems right now like a issue that you're having in your life that seems like you have no control over. Asking this question gives you insight into what you do have control over in the situation, and that gives you a sense of power and a sense of empowerment that, okay, I can't change things that are outside of myself about this issue, but I can change my thoughts about it, my reaction to it, the way that it's impacting my health, the way that it's causing me stress. You can change those things. And then that issue becomes less of an issue just because you're not letting it affect you as much.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's really good. Okay, will you ask question number 2 one more time?
The question number 2 is, what do I have control over? So just really like writing down like in your life for each area, or if you have a specific situation or issue that you want to work on and create goals to make a change in, that you're writing down what do you have control over and what you don't have control over, and distinguishing that difference for yourself.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, for me, just the conversation around this has opened up that I have more control over my life than I probably give myself credit for. Let's do
Yeah.
question number 3.
Question 3 is, what action is leading to my results? And so your circumstances don't control your actions, your feelings, or your thoughts. So ultimately, like whatever situation you're in that you're finding to be dissatisfying is a result of your own decisions. And so what you want to think about is what behaviors you're choosing that result in the outcomes that you're getting. And action is also inaction, right? Like inaction is not taking the action. So looking at what action is leading to my results as the question, action or inaction.
So your behavior is leading to whatever undesirable outcomes you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Let's go to question number 4 now.
Okay, question number 4 is, what am I feeling before I take this action? With this question, what you want to get is that with every action or inaction that you take, there's an associated feeling that is driving the action or inaction. So, for example, if you decide to skip the gym, that's an inaction. It may be because you feel tired or apathetic or like hopeless. It's not because you think that you have to do something instead. It's how you feel about it. So it's not because you think you have to get dinner on the table before it gets too late. Instead, it's how you feel about getting dinner on the table before it gets too late. So maybe you don't go to the gym because you feel overwhelmed or rushed. So it's important to identify the feelings behind the behavior, especially if it's creating results that you don't want. So with this question, take time to think about what you're feeling when you take an action that's not serving you, because you want to get to the feeling. It's not just that you do the action or don't do the action. It's the feeling behind it.
Yep, got it. That's awesome. All right, what's the next question?
Number 5, and this is the last one. What thought is driving my feeling? And so your thoughts are where things begin. We say it all the time, your words create your world, and spoken or unspoken. So your thoughts that you're having is where everything starts for you. And thoughts can create certain emotions, and then those emotions can lead to certain behaviors, which ultimately give you certain results, which is good news because you do have control of your thoughts, not in the sense that you can stop them, right? Like your thoughts are going to happen. And we teach this in yoga and we teach this in meditation. Your thoughts are going to happen, but what you do have control of is the types of thoughts that you're having. Because if you notice, if you're aware of your thoughts and you notice that you're having thoughts that are not serving you, that are not helping you work towards the goals that you have, you can make a shift in those thoughts. And something else about thoughts is that if you have a thought over and over and over again, your thought becomes a belief. And so if you have a belief about yourself from having repeated thoughts over and over and over again, it becomes like a truth to you. And it's hard to like to go past that when it's become a belief. But when you have that awareness of your thoughts and you pinpoint what thought is driving your feeling, then you can make a concerted effort to, when you have those thoughts that are driving those feelings, to shift those thoughts. And over time, you can create new beliefs with those new thoughts. And those new beliefs about yourself are the ones that can help you get those goals that you have.
When you say you can shift those thoughts, what is the process of shifting a thought entail?
Well, I don't know. I mean, so like for me, if I notice that I have a negative thought about myself, um, having that awareness, first of all, of just the fact that I am having the thought is important, because some people are just having thoughts, having thoughts, having thoughts without having the awareness of like being separate from your thoughts in a sense, because you have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. So though if you can't separate yourself from your thoughts with awareness, then you can't make a shift. So first it's the awareness of your thoughts, they're happening. And then if you have a negative thought about yourself, or a thought like you have a goal and you have something you really want to do, but then your thoughts are like, oh, what's the point? Oh, I can't do that. Those kinds of things. If you have the awareness to notice those thoughts, you can shift them by, if you have the thought like, oh, what's the point? Or, oh, I can't do that. Like you can shift it like, yes, I can do that. There is a point. That's what I want for myself. And you can start to just say the thought differently right after the negative thought. You say the opposite. You say a positive thought. And then over time, your thoughts just naturally start. The more you have the positive thought, the more your thoughts naturally start to be more in that realm.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I think in the process of inquiry too, what starts to happen because you're writing it on a piece of paper, if you're writing it in a piece of paper, is that you'll start to see the patterns in your writing and in your words, and you'll see how you're speaking to yourself or speaking about things. And then just by seeing that and having that awareness of looking at it and observing it, you can start to write different words and start to, in your own way, create your own story and to build your life by starting with your language. It's a really neat and exciting topic. And
Yeah. And I mean, if you're looking just like specifically at the last question, which is what thought is driving my feeling, and you're, like you just said, writing those specific thoughts or thought down that drives the feeling, identifying that brings the awareness. And then once you know that you have that thought that maybe you weren't aware of before that like drives the feeling, then you can listen for it. And when that happens, that's the moment where you shift the thought, and then the process changes.
yeah, wow, that's awesome. I love it. How you are anywhere is how you are everywhere. This is the process of inquiry, but also the process of meditation and sitting with and actually actively observing your thoughts and practicing shifting thoughts and coming back to your body, as well as the practice of yoga. In the realm of this question, the practice of yoga, being in a pose, observing your thoughts, observing your disempowering beliefs, those things that are not true, but that you have created as a pattern of belief, and the way that you live your entire life gives you an opportunity to create an awareness and create a shift.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're saying about yoga and meditation, those two practices are the perfect tool to really bring that awareness to your thoughts, which is where everything starts. So even just in a yoga practice, noticing what thoughts you're having when you want to come out of a pose. What thought is driving the feeling that's leading you to want to come out of the pose? Simple things like that. Learning that awareness and practicing that on your yoga mat will translate, like you're saying, into your life. How you do anything is how you do everything. So those are great tools to implement in conjunction with inquiry. You know, that's what we teach at Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP. Meditation, the yoga practice, and the inquiry all combined. It really is transformative. So thank you for having me go over this today.
Yeah, right on. Okay, well, that was a great episode. And now you're all leaving with some new tools that Katie introduced to us. It may be that you've got to go back and listen to the episode a few times, or backtrack it a few times and listen to some things. Do that. Take your time to go through this inquiry, and we believe you'll have some amazing breakthroughs in your life. If you have gotten a benefit from this podcast episode, the only way that we're growing is through your shares. So it's really helpful if you share this podcast. Of course, you can listen to it on any of your favorite podcast providers. If you like the video versions of these podcasts, you can check out Katie and I on YouTube at Spotted Dog Yoga. So check out at Spotted Dog Yoga, subscribe, hit the alert button. You'll see the episodes as they come live. Thank you, everyone, for checking out Play Hard and Love Big Radio, the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP, based out of Folsom, California. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.